Good morning, it's thrill of the chase time. Greyhound racing like you've never seen it before. Well, it was an incredible night of greyhound racing last night at the Meadows. 3 Group 1s as we count down toward the Australian Cup in a couple of weeks' time. I'm joined by an all-star panel here on the thrill of the chase. Of course, Molly Haynes on maternity leave, so we wish Molly well. Filling the shoes, George Ferrugia. Hello to you.
Big shoes to fill
Yes.
for Molly, but good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. Make sure you look after Chloe.
Yeah, very, very smooth. I'll be getting some flowers on the way home if I can find some. Obviously, with things the way they are, I might be picking a few flowers, but we'll see how we go.
Good boy.
Mate, starting off, how did you get involved in greyhound racing?
I think my dad brought a greyhound home when I was about 3 years of age, and it captivated the whole family. We used to sit around the wireless. I'm showing my age. Sit around the wireless listening to Ronnie Hawkswell call races provincially, and we've been hooked ever since, mate.
Well, it's great to be hooked because it is an unbelievable sport. There's no doubt about that. New member on the panel is young Mitch. A very good morning to you, Mitchy boy.
Good morning, James. Good morning, George.
Hey, Mitch.
Your love for the sport, mate, where did that come from?
When I was a toddler, Dad used to take me down to his mate's place in Anarchy, Jeff Bate, and he had quite a few dogs down there, over 100, and I just was hooked on it ever since and brought a few home, and now I've got a few too many, and I just love it. Get mates involved, it's fantastic.
Greatest thrill in greyhound racing, what's it been so far?
Probably winning a city race, Mega Dossa. That's probably one of my biggest thrills, and winning a race with some mates as well. That's fantastic.
Well, it is a huge show of the thrill of the chase today. Let's have a look what's coming up. We've got, of course, all of the action from the Temlee Rookie Rebel Zoom Top. We're going to catch up with Kayla Cottrell. She won the Rookie Rebel last night with Fernando Kaz. Richmond legend and GRV board member Emmett Dunn is in the studio. He made sure that we'd put down Richmond legend. He told us it must be there. We'll check in with Matty Field as well after his very emotional story last year. And this year, of course, no Molly's Lounge, but a very, very special edition of Molly's Lounge. That's going to be intriguing, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the agenda now. And of course, we have to kick off with last night's unbelievable night of Group 1 racing and the sprint, $100,000 to the winner. And a greyhound by the name of Wow, just so fitting to name the greyhound Wow, and this was a whirlwind of a run.
Yeah, look, I can't emphasise how big a run this was. The Victorian Greyhounds combined had 80 starts at the Meadows. That's a hell of a lot of experience to be up against. He had one trial there. I don't think anyone doubted whether he was quick enough to win the race, but to come on our turf and win, us Victorians, we're like teenagers. We don't like sharing our stuff. And he just came and blew our dogs away. It was a fantastic effort. It is stud dog defining, a win like that.
Yeah, and especially coming off a Paws of Thunder and like you say, doing it from tough draws as well. And Mitch, did it surprise you a little bit just the way he won the race? He was caught out wide and he put some of Victoria's best sprinters to the sword very, very quickly.
Oh, it didn't surprise me. I've been following the dog for a while now, and he's been a really classy animal. But to beat Shimmer Shine and Tiggerlong Tonk and really round them up and spit them out, it was a really good run. And he's going to be going places, this dog. He's got a lot of potential, and yeah, look out, greyhound racing industry. Yeah,
he'd probably stay in Melbourne now for the Australian Cup would be the go.
Yeah. And the fact that he's won the Temlee now, the Australian Cup, which they would love to win, is almost a free hit at the stumps now. He's proven himself already, and the future looks bright.
It does indeed, and I did read up, or I did listen to an interview that the dogs in New South Wales did on Karina Britton, and she said every time I go to the track, I don't actually expect him to win, but for some reason he just keeps getting better and better and better and winning every race he goes into. Of course, he won the Gosford Cup, the Paws of Thunder, and now stepping up to the next level, I think winning the Temlee last night. The Stayers, they were unbelievable last night as well in the Zoom Top over the 725. It was an amazing finish, wasn't it? And Houdini Boy got the job done just.
Yeah, I was talking from my pocket here because I had some money on Zach Manelli, and if someone told me in the morning, James, that he'd break 2 sectional records and run 42.37, I'd take that for sure. Yeah. But he got beaten by some very, very good greyhounds, and Houdini Boy now 2 Group 1s in his last 3 starts, and an outstanding performance.
And how good is the staying racing right now? Zach Manelli, here's tears, Stanley Road announcing himself, Sunset Burbsky. Mitch, you'd almost say staying racing is as strong as it's ever been.
Yeah, I would say it would be. It's you just got to see the depth of the races. There's not just one chance. There's 8 chances in every race, and we've got some really classy dogs going around, and probably 8 chances in the race last night.
I'll tell you what, that was an extraordinary finish by a few of those greyhounds. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a hint. It might be a part of the analyser, so stay tuned for that. It's back bigger and better than ever before. Rookie Rebel, the other Group 1. 3 Group 1s last night at the Meadows, and this over the 600 metres. Kayla Cottrell winning it with Fernando Kaz and doing it a little bit different. Mapunga Ryder took the race and was able to lead it up and try and dominate, but Fernando Kaz, she was strong. Just an exciting win.
I think you hit the nail on the head. A couple of her runs over the middle distance, she's been able to lead and dominate from the front. I think Connections would be absolutely over the moon that she was able to run a greyhound, a group class greyhound in Mapunga Isla Down. Big finish from Corborn Foottrot too there, Mitch.
Yeah, super run. Kayla's doing a great job with this dog and must be rapt to go back-to-back after last year winning with Perfect Marshall. And I think the 700 metres is on the agenda not too far down the track, because this greyhound held off some really strong dogs last night and kicked away.
It is going to be interesting to see what happens with that greyhound Fernando Kaz, where she goes next. We'll have Kayla Cottrell on the show a little bit later on, so we'll find that out. It's going to be exciting, though, with the Australian Cup just around the corner. Speaking of that, the Australian Cup preliminaries were also being run last night, and one of those was won by a greyhound by the name of Mapunga Knight. And the reason I like this greyhound is Junk Food Junkie from box number 3 is a real hard, fast sprinter, and he was just able to cross and lead for fun. So this is a greyhound going places.
Yeah, I think so. Look, when he first started his career, this greyhound, 500 was just a little bit too far. He'd get a little bit tired in a couple of races, but I think Connections again would be over the moon with the fact that he ran 29.89. He was able to finish the race well. Now he could become a bona fide group class greyhound, Mitch.
Yeah, this dog went 17.60 to the second peg last night, which was 2 lengths quicker than Wow. So it just shows how good the greyhound's going, and that mid-race burn is what really sets it up. And it was a fantastic run last night.
And to put that time in perspective, 17.60 down the back, that's probably 2-3 lengths behind Simon Told Helen Hardstyle Rico. So he's getting closer and closer to those big names, which aren't racing at the moment, of course, but it's great to draw a line against those. Now, Shimmer Jake is another greyhound who won a prelim last night, and I guess for Team Daly, this would have been very exciting, very encouraging, because what he did was he showed a little bit more early speed. He had to work at the first corner, but he got himself into a winning position, and he burst onto the scene with a big motor, this greyhound.
How gutsy was that first 100 metres from Shimmer Jake? Really had to work hard to get to the front there, Mitch. And look, he powered away. He started his career really well, around 29.80 at the Meadows as a young greyhound. And he had a little bit of a faltering period there, but he's come good now.
Yeah, I think he won 3 out of his first 5, and he's been a really classy greyhound. He plateaued a little bit through the middle there, but he's starting to find his feet again and hit his grade, and he was fantastic last night.
Now, we've got a big segment coming up. I have had to take control of the hosting duties now, because this man has demanded the spotlight near the plasma. It's Jim Bob Vandermark with the Analyzer.
Yeah, look, and I said if I'm going to host the show, I'm not letting go of the Analyzer, because I want to bring it back bigger and better than ever before. And here we are at the Analyzer, and I thought we'd take a look at the Group 1, because here on the Analyzer, I picked out Simon Told Helen a couple of years ago. I like to look toward the future and greyhounds that people can follow. I think I've found a few from the running of the Group 1 Zoom Top. Let's roll the tape now on the Zoom Top. We're looking at 3 Houdini Boy, 6 Stanley Road. Now, as they run the first 100 metres or so, there's not a great deal between them. Houdini Boy here, Stanley Road about a half a length away on his outside. Now, through this middle part of the race, not a great deal happens. They both run a very similar type of pace, but right here, look what happens to Stanley Road. Just gets into a bit of a bumping duel with Run Like Jess, just loses a little bit of momentum, a bit of ground, and we see Houdini Boy slip away. Now, down the back straight, this is what I liked about Stanley Road, because he was able to follow Houdini Boy, and obviously near the end got very close. You also see Sunset Burbsky starting to wind up into her work, but at the point of the home corner, we've got the GPS speed, 55.8 kilometres per hour, Houdini Boy. Quicker, Stanley Road 56.3. Now, as we draw to the post, Houdini Boy wins at a nose to Stanley Road. But look at this. You've got Houdini Boy 54.2, Stanley Road 56 kilometres per hour. And right over here, hidden away in the corner, Sunset Burbsky, who nabs third, 56.9 kilometres per hour. So what I take out of this, lads, the winner, outstanding, Houdini Boy. We know how good he is. Stanley Road has announced himself as a genuine Group 1 star. We all know Sunset Burbsky powering home at the end, but what an unbelievable finish that is to a Group 1 staying race.
He's emerging, Stanley Road. He is emerging. If you have a look at some of his runs in the Summer Plate Series, which he won, he was outstanding then. And I think Connections of stayers going forward will be really worried about Stanley Road in their way, that's for sure.
Let's not be too serious. Was that the greatest Analyzer you've ever seen?
Really crisp.
Yeah, very sharp.
It was very crisp, no doubt about that. Well, we've still got plenty more to come on the Thrill of the Chase. Of course, Emmett Dunn up after the break. Welcome back to the thrill of the chase. Greyhound racing reimagined. It's already been a big show, but there is still so much more to come. We're going to catch up with Kayla Cottrell soon, and the great man Trent Langscale here as well for a little bit of a market update, some all-in markets, some pre-nom markets for the Australian Cup and the Superstars. But let's now turn our attention to GRV board member and former AFL great Emmett Dunn. Hello to you, Emmett.
Morning, James. Morning, gentlemen. I think you've thrown me under the bus there with that great and legend stuff. I was an ordinary player and a good side.
Well, you must have been a little bit better than ordinary, mate, because soon to be an AFL life member, which must be great for the recognition side of things.
Yes, it is. I'm very proud to receive it. It's a great award, and footy's been great for me, and I've really enjoyed the whole journey, and particularly in the last 20 years after finishing playing, by giving back to the game that's given so much to me.
I'm just seeing a couple of these photos here on the screen, and you've barely changed a bit. You've aged gracefully, haven't you?
I've still got most of my hair. I'm starting to get a bit grey, but yeah, I'm lucky.
I need some advice for the mow, because I've been working on mine ever since we went live on Thrill of the Chase 2 years ago, and it's just not working. But turning our attention to greyhound racing, where did it all begin for you, the love for greyhound racing, and then to end up being a GRV board member?
Yeah, I'm a city boy, and a country cousin of ours came and lived with us when he went through university, and he was mad keen greyhound follower. And I would join him as we went to the old Olympic Park and Sandown back in the old days, and very exciting, and it seemed to be never-ending action. There'd be sort of 10 minutes between races. You go to the gambling ring, there'd be 30 or so bookmakers around yelling and screaming and turning the dials and so forth. It was most enjoyable back then.
It's the one thing I wish I got to, Olympic Park. I was only 5 years of age, so I'm not sure I would have been able to bet then anyway, but by gee, I would have loved to have got to Olympic Park. The atmosphere, they say, was extraordinary.
Yes, it was all interesting characters walking around there. It was all action. As I said, the bookers are yelling out and screaming and giving the odds, and the dogs would run around. It was very entertaining and most enjoyable, I must say.
It was a different age back then, wasn't it, Emmett? That's for sure. Just quickly, you've been a board member since around 2016. There always seems to be some sort of initiative and new incentives coming through from Greyhound Racing Victoria. What are you most proud of in your time on the board?
Yeah, look, it's a great team at GRV. They've done a wonderful job over my time. It's been terrific introducing changes and upgrading the status of the sport. Most, the bedding down of the code of practice was a terrific effort. But I really think, looking back over my time, the last 12 months, and I really appreciate, we, the board, Peter, the chair, and all the board and everyone at GRV, really appreciate the efforts of all the participants last year in responding to our requests for to get over the COVID. And the tale is that the sport continued throughout all of that last year, regardless of all the issues that went on, and actually grew. So thank you for all the participants for chipping in and complying with our request. It was really great.
It really was great, the fact that we could continue racing, and not just race, as I've said so many times, but race so safely. We had no COVID cases throughout the whole year, and obviously we're continuing to race now with this 5-day lockdown, but there are so many rules in place, and GRV have had to be so nimble in the sense they've had to move about, do things differently, and the participants have been first to jump on and follow whatever they need to in order to race safely.
They certainly have, and Alan Clayton and his team have done a wonderful job as well, but the participants is great. And we're here for the next 5 days, so please continue on with that effort. It's necessary to do that.
Now, greyhound racing v AFL, there'd be some similarities. I know just off air a moment ago you said the analyser was similar to how they did it in the footy. Is there more that rings a bell when you talk greyhound racing compared to footy?
Certainly. It's a competition. And it's a sport, so that's in the same sort of cohort. And last year's Melbourne Cup, watching it on TV, Lucky after winning the Melbourne Cup, the way he stride down the straight, chest out, fists, arms, punching the air and grabbing hold of anyone and everyone he could, reminded me a great deal of like an AFL coach coming out of the stand, siren goes, you won the grand final, you walk onto the ground, and they're doing the same thing. And one thing here is, Lucky will always be a Melbourne Cup winning trainer. And it's just like being a VFL or an AFL premiership player. You always have that with you the rest of your life, and it must be a great feeling for him.
And it's game-changing, isn't it, Emmett? And that's the other thing. That's game-changing for Lucky. He can set up his family. He owns the greyhound. Now the greyhound's at stud. But that's the beauty of this sport. I mean, it can be really life-changing for so many people.
Yeah, look, I like it so it's egalitarian.
Yep.
You don't have to come from a gifted family background. Backgrounds don't matter. Money doesn't really matter. And you're right, it does change. And look, our involvement with women in particular is just terrific. 26% of our trainers are female, and that number's growing. And more than half of our elite trainers are women. And Kayla's story is just another one of those. It's got a great future.
There's a massive impact too, isn't there? Greyhound racing in regional areas, of course, we've got all the country tracks as well as the two metro tracks, but there is a really big impact that greyhound racing makes on the regional Victoria area.
Certainly does. Either directly or indirectly, greyhound racing employs 4,000 people across Victoria. Most of those jobs are in the country, regional areas, where it's tough and hard to get a job. And I went up to Horsham a couple of weeks ago to their awards night, and it was just a fantastic night. Just the earthiness of the people and their passion for the sport and the collegiate approach through the people at that club was great. I really enjoyed it. And that, no doubt, goes across the state.
What's the vision for the sport now going forward? We've set up a really good base now, got through COVID. Hopefully we're seeing the tail end of that. What are some of the things you can tell us going forward now? Yeah,
so there's always initiatives on the go. Increasing prize money is important, but also we're in a competitive environment with the other states, and that's what we keep our eye on. Look, there's some things happening with our social licence. Improving that in terms of inclusion. I can't get the cat out of the bag at this stage, but you watch this year, and it is part of our joining with the community, being an important part of the community. And that's where we're going to.
Well, speaking about the incentives and things like that, GRV have always been very good with initiatives and trying something new, especially in most recent years. But the new Pink Diamond series is exciting, it's lucrative, there's great money, and it's a great incentive for people to breed greyhounds in Victoria. Yeah,
that's right. And we are in a competitive environment. And we look forward to the future. And of course, more dogs, more races, more opportunities for people to trial their dogs and also race them, which is growing the sport.
Tigers, you're a former Tiger man. How do you think they're going to go this year? Swinging our attention back to the AFL. Can they win again? Can they dominate again?
I'm not a former Tiger. I'm still a Tiger. Don't worry about it. It's like being a premiership player. Yes, they certainly can. We'll be competitive. Every year the competition gets harder and harder and harder with the draft and the salary caps and so forth. It makes the competition level and even. So it'll be difficult again. The challenges we've thrown up again, but we'll be competitive and we'll just take it from there.
They might be a little bit more than competitive this year, being very, very modest. In the greyhound game, who is your favourite dog? Do you have a favourite dog, racing now or in years gone by?
Not really, but I have a bit of a soft spot for the number 5 dog in each race because it's in yellow and black and it wears the number 5, which is my number. So I always have a lucky spot or a soft spot for that. And Lucky's dog wore number 5 when it won the Melbourne Cup. So I was excited and dancing on the inside for Lucky.
Well, I think it was a good year for all Richmond people. Won the AFL Premiership and won the grand final of greyhound racing, I think you could say, with the Melbourne Cup. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Emmett, and good luck with everything moving forward with GRV.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your show. I much enjoy it. Good luck to you guys
thanks,
too.
Mate.
Well, there we go. That's Emmett Dunn, board member and former Richmond superstar. We've got so much more coming up. Of course, Matty Field after the break and a new look lounge as well a little bit later on. Welcome back to the thrill of the chase. Well, earlier in the show, we had a chat about the Rookie Rebel, and we've been lucky enough to catch up via Zoom with the winner of the Rookie Rebel, winning trainer, Kayla Cottrell. A very, very good morning to you, Kayla. You must be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, no, I am. It was very exciting last night, and, it hasn't really sunk in yet, but, yeah, no, it was pretty special.
And, of course, last year, you won the race handling for your dad, Dave, with Perfect Marshall. How did it feel to go back 12 months later and win the race as the trainer?
Yeah, no, it was very special to go back-to-back. To be a part of Perfect Marshall's racing career, it was such an honour to be a part of. And, yeah, to go back-to-back this year and win with Fernando Kaz it's great.
Kayla, congratulations at such a young age to take out a Group 1. It must be a huge thrill. You must have been really stoked with the way she won the race. She set up a lot of those middle distance races where she's just jumped to the front and given nothing else a chance. She had some good dogs in front of her there and she was able to run them down. That must have been a huge thrill.
Yeah, no, well, it was very gutsy win by her, and the credit goes to the bitch. And look, her last race up was the Maiden Memorial, which she won. And look, the next morning she woke up with a touch of kennel cough. So you could say I've been on tender hooks the last couple of weeks, you know. And Fernando Bluey was in that night as well, which he won the Australian Sprint, and he woke up with a touch of kennel cough. So it was a matter of isolating the two dogs for that 7 or 10 days that they were sitting out, and you know, keeping on the lead and trying to keep a bit of fitness about. And I was actually lucky enough to fit in 2 trials with Kaz leading into the Rookie Rebel. So it was just a matter of sitting back and really hoping she could do it on her ability side of things, which she did. And, you know, she proved she's just a genuine great chaser.
Congratulations last night, Kayla. Obviously a thrill to win such a big race. And I know the family's had pretty high opinion of this greyhound since you've got her. And is there a chance she may step up to the 700? I know your dad was pretty bullish about it, and I think after last night's run, it just shows that she's quite strong and can do it from both ends.
Yeah, there's no doubt she'll get the 700 metres. You know, as you see over a 600-metre racing, she just keeps drawing away from the field, and, you know, she can do it from the front end, or she can sort of sit back and come from behind. So, you know, she's strong, and, yeah, there's no doubt we'll have a crack at the 700 metres in time.
And Kayla, last night it must have been just a great thrill to be a part of the race, but it hasn't just been this race. You've been having a wonderful run for at least the last couple of weeks, and to have Fernando Bluey in the kennel and now this one as well, Fernando Kaz, you must just be pinching yourself when you wake up 6 a.m, walk out to the kennel, and to have greyhounds like that sitting there. It must just be so exciting.
It is exciting, especially so early in my training career. You know, usually start off with, you know, your dogs just around the country, but to have, you know, the pair of them that, you know, they're amazing chasers, and, you know, the times they can run and just the things they do in races. Yeah, I pinch myself, that's for sure, to have, you know, 2 dogs like them. And I'm honoured to, you know, Alan Hunter and Brett to give me the opportunity to train a pair like them. It's very special.
Do you get time to celebrate, Kayla? I mean, next week is another big night of racing, obviously, Fernando Bluey, Fernando Kaz, but do you get time to just chill out and celebrate a little bit? I mean, you're only young, and I know what I was doing when I was 18. I would have been going crazy if I won a Group 1 race.
Yeah, well, considering we're in lockdown, I didn't get much celebrating in. It was more come home, feed Kaz, go to bed, and get up at 5 a.m. this morning and do the dogs again. So, yeah, it wasn't much celebrating, but, you know, it was a very exciting time.
Oh, it has been a wonderful time, and getting up at 5 a.m. must just be that little bit easier after a Group 1 win. Just before we let you go, Kayla, how did you get involved? Obviously through your dad, but you must be just so thrilled to be doing what you love and to have such great success so early on.
Yeah, no, I was born into the sport, and, you know, like I said, I used to chase my grandpa around, Len Cottrell around the farm, and, you know, I was a 5-year-old chasing him around, letting out breakers with him, and, yeah, and then to sit back and sort of watch mum and dad, and now to be training for myself, it's, yeah, I wouldn't have pictured it. I'm kind of lost for words, really.
And Fernando Bluey, Australian Cup heats next week?
Yeah, he'll be going there, and Kaz will most likely be going there too. So, yeah, no. I was a bit sort of shocked that he didn't get a run in the team lead, but, you know, there's not much we can do about that. So, yeah, he'll head towards the Australian Cup now.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Congratulations. I know it's straight back to business. You're off to the trials, but try and enjoy what was a wonderful Group 1 win.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Kayla Cottrell, Group 1 winning trainer, and isn't that a story in itself? Fernando Kaz dropping back in distance, 600-metre Group 1 winner last night. Mitch now heading to the Australian Cup over the 500 metres.
Yeah, it's surprising. I thought for sure she would have stepped up in distance, but when you've got a race of that calibre, why wouldn't you go there? And she's in great form. She's jumping well. And
yeah, it's the lucrative prize money too, isn't it? $250,000 thereabouts for the Australian Cup. But did that surprise you at all, George?
No, not because of her racing pattern. She's a get-out-and-go type, and sometimes when they're over 600, they can drop back and be pretty successful over the 525. So if she draws well and gets to the front, you'd be worried you can't catch her. So.
Well, it is a great story. Kayla Cottrell, young female trainer, doing so well, and already a Group 1 trainer at the young age of about 18. It's an incredible story. Speaking of incredible stories, a little bit of a change of pace. Last year we caught up with Matt Field. It was a story that had such an impact on the greyhound racing community and just the broader, wider greyhound community as well. Let's check in with Matty Field this year.
I'm actually 34. I was born with spina bifida. West Finger vet, spina bifida, can't do much.
He did the story on Thrill of the Chase because he went into the adoption to obtain a greyhound, and we ended up with Apache.
Apache's a retired race dog. I've had him for 3 months. Apache was a bit of a legend down the track, won a lot of races. Apache has changed my life for better.
Oh, he had so many comments. People just congratulated him and said that they didn't have a dry eye. You know, it was just beautiful, the story, they reckoned.
People love my story about me and Apache.
Matt and Apache are doing really well together, and Apache had an accident after we did the filming.
He was running around outside in close on broke. Got his foot caught, cut his foot down to his bone.
Oh, absolutely terrifying. I never want to see it again. Matt was in the house and he was too scared to come out.
It was a really awful seeing Apache hurt.
Matt's brother Justin was killed in a car accident 19 years ago. He was 23. Justin used to always say, you know, anything goes on with Matthew, with anyone, let me know. Nobody could do anything to him. And I think this is one thing that the greyhound community all looks out for Matt.
Greyhound owners paid the vet bill and was really kind.
Them paying for the vet bill was just amazing and overwhelmed, and we thanked them.
Wade Gallagher and I own this litter of pups, and once we've seen that story on Thrill of the Chase, Matt hasn't been dealt the best hand in life in regards to his health, so we just wanted to do something.
I think he was the one that said, let's give him 10% shares in a dog, and to pick one out and name it.
I'm really excited to meet my greyhound today. Having a share made me really happy. Having the greyhound to share at the track, I'll be part of the team.
Yeah, look, he's enjoyed having an adoption greyhound, and now hopefully he gets to see one race on the track. So, yeah, we're pumped to get him involved, and yeah, hopefully he can get a winner.
Matt has dreamed having a share in a greyhound for years. It is a dream come true. Yeah, Matt was talking about calling it either Multi-Maddie or Multi-Hammy after his brother, and his brother would be so proud of this now.
My brother will be really happy how the greyhound community is looking after me.
I think Matt is a fantastic role model for people with disabilities and those that have greyhounds in their life. I think the bond he has with his greyhound is amazing.
Oh, I think he won't sleep when he knows there's going to be the race coming. I don't think he'll sleep. He'll be so excited.
I'll be really excited to see my greyhound wins first.
Oh, I'm proud of Matt altogether, not just the race, but every time, yeah.
An absolutely beautiful story once again, Matty Field, and we wish him well, and we wish him well enjoying the journey of a pup right through to a race stage as well. And the socials after the story last year went absolutely bananas, and so many of the greyhound racing community, that they got right behind Matty Field, obviously yourself, George, and others providing him shares in greyhounds, and he's almost, you know, one of the biggest owners going around.
He's a greyhound Leviathan now. Matt, look, it was great meeting Matt that day. I hadn't met him previously. He absolutely loved picking out his pup. He's becoming a greyhound owner officially with GRV. He's going to give it a race name. He'll be part of our syndicate. The greyhound's pet name is Hammy, named after his late brother. It was just a really special story. Absolutely, we get such a thrill out of it, Wade and I, for breeding the litter and giving him a share in a greyhound. And since then, he's got a 5% share in Bobby the Brute for the entirety of its race career, and another 15% from Michelle Magri, I think, from another pup. So you're right, he's going to have he's going to have a little bit of fun next year.
All jokes aside, he's actually got a better kennel sitting there than I've had, and I've been involved in the sport for 15 years. So well done to Matty Field. He'd be tuning in, no doubt, and we wish you well. And for those who do know Matt Field pretty well, he loves to place a little multi-bet. He only puts a couple of dollars on it, big, wide, legs with about 15 different runners. So hopefully today he can snare the multi as well.
Well, he wants wants to name the greyhound Maddie's Multi.
Yeah, well,
now,
there
that
you
would
go.
be fantastic if that was to eventuate.
Well, let's hope that does. Well, there's no Molly, but there is still a lounge. Find out who it is after the break. You're watching Thrill of the Chase. Well, as we've said a few times throughout the show, Molly Haynes is on maternity leave and we wish Molly well, but the lounge must go on, as we've put it. A very special edition of this year's lounge, or this show's lounge, I should say, and it's Louise Martin stepping in to host Lou's Lounge on location. I hope I got that right.
Welcome to Lou's Lounge. I'm filling in for the big shoes of Molly Haynes. And I'm here, I've just dropped into the Paraskeva's shoe household, which is slightly chaotic, as you can see. Hello, Jess, how are you going?
Hello, Mother.
You've got your hands full there. So tell me, what's harder, bringing up puppies or bringing up babies?
I think it's on par.
So how old are the puppies?
The puppies are 2 weeks old and the baby is 3 months old.
And which is the biggest challenge you have for the moment?
Probably the children.
So I understand that you have a baby monitor. Sorry, Delilah's just decided to eat me a little bit. A baby monitor for both the puppies and the babies. So which one do you watch the most?
The babies. No, the puppies. I do. I watch the puppies more than I watch him.
So a day in the life of a greyhound trainer when you've got puppies. So you get up early in the morning. I'm glad you get up. You feed the child. Paris feeds the puppies.
Yes.
Do you look after the other dogs?
Yes. We have 3-month-old pups here, which were born 2 weeks before Luca. They're my American Girl pups, so I've got 3 of those which we have to feed a few times a day and go check on them. And we have 18 14-month-old pups as well. And we have the race dogs, so it's quite hectic.
Jess, greyhound racing is a family sport. When you're bringing up the pups and you're socialising them, which is really important, how critical is it that the children get out there and play with them?
Yeah, so our daughters, they have a lot to do with the pups. Not this litter, like they've had a lot to do with this litter as well, but Paris's second litter, she had a litter of 13, and the girls used to help me feed every 2 hours. Of course, not the nighttime feeds, because I wouldn't wake them up. But yeah, the girls would be always out there with the bottles, feeding the pups, cleaning the pups, even feeding the mum.
And I actually know sneaking them into their beds occasionally.
Yes, they would. Andrew and I would find puppies in their bedrooms, hidden under blankets, which was very interesting. They also had collars and leads on them before I think any other greyhound pup would have. So
they got sticks with string. I remember seeing them.
Yes.
And Pippa, who's only 5 at the time,
yes.
She started to think that was a lure.
Yes.
Didn't she?
I had a Facebook post and the girl, Pippa, was training the pups. I think they were 1 month old and she had made a lure herself and she put a bit of string on a stick and she made her sister India hold the pups and then they said, ready, set, go. And they had to chase the lure.
I remember people saying, wasn't much of a winner. Do you reckon you've got an Australian Cup or a Melbourne Cup winner here?
Oh, let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Pretty Bomb has had 27 pups in 3 litters, and I would like to think that we will have something go to the Melbourne Cup.
So just one other question. So do you see greyhounds as part of your family?
Yes, of course I do. Not just the breeding and racing, but the rehoming as well. The girls have a lot to do with taking the dogs for walks once they've retired and getting them ready to get rehomed.
So greyhound is for life.
Definitely.
All right, thank you for having us here today. And Luca, you've been sensational. So thanks for that. Delilah is getting a bit frisky here and I think she has actually peed on me. But anyway, apart from that, all is good. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Just going to lose the car.
Well, there we go. Thank you very, very much for that, Lou. And the plan was for it to be George's Lounge as of next week, but that was such a good addition. I reckon we might stick with Lou's Lounge moving forward.
Let's do that.
How good is the journey, though, from pup to race dog? It's not a short journey. Obviously, they don't race until they're almost 2 years of age, but you get to know the dog so well throughout that first part of their life and then to eventually get them to the race stage. It's just such a great journey to be a part of.
It is, and it gets the family involved. And then the excitement builds just before they break in, Mitch, as you would know. And then after that, if they break in all right, you start dreaming of winning Melbourne Cups and so on. So, yeah, it's massive.
Oh, it is. There's nothing better than having pups, is there, Mitch? They are so beautiful and you just fall in love with them from the moment they come out. And that journey I speak of, you know, it's the moment they first open their eyes, and it's just such an incredible, I guess, 2-year journey that you go on.
Oh, it's a fantastic journey. It's obviously it's time consuming, but it's what we love. And I'm not one that sells them, so I tend to keep them. And if I ever think of selling them,
He's a bit of a hoarder.
Yeah.
I must say.
I love them too much, but yeah, I've got quite a few pups at home, and I look and think, I don't want to get rid of any of them.
Well, the hardest thing is, whenever you sell a racing animal, they always, nearly every time, turn out to be the best one in the litter. I think that's just the way it goes. Well, there's still more to come on Thrill of the Chase, the eye candy we speak of. Trent Langscale after the break. Welcome back. We're on the home corner for this episode of The Thrill of the Chase, and what a fantastic episode it's been thus far. We caught up with Kayla Cottrell. She gave us a bit of an insight towards her greyhounds heading to the Australian Cup. We had Emmett Dunn and Lou's Lounge, which was absolutely tremendous. We're about to turn our attention now to a guest, or I guess a part of the show. Not really a guest, he's a part of the show, Trent Langscale. Before I get to you, Trent, we had a meeting through the week and we said we're going to casual the show up a little bit. Let's get rid of the ties. Let's have a bit more of a conversational chat. And you said, oh, no, I can't let go of that. Welcome to you, mate.
Good morning to you, James. You are correct. It's just a bit difficult that when you go to a racetrack, and with the show here, Thrill the Chase, it used to wearing the tie, and it would be a little bit difficult to just dispense with it. And it's good to dress up as well because it's been such a difficult period apart from wearing the Hawthorn or Vancouver Canucks sweater. Feels good to be in the suit and tie.
Hey, look, I think with us three over here, we needed a little bit of class in the room, and we've got that now with you. But reflecting last night, it would have been a great night of racing, wouldn't it? And no doubt from Tab there would have been plenty of wages, especially with the Temlee.
There was a lot of interest, particularly in the Temlee. And when you've got the Victorian greyhounds that were in action, that's where mainly the interest was, and there was a go as well on Catch the Thief. With WOW, it's been an incredible story. The market for the Tab Australian Cup opened in early January, and at that stage, WOW was a $21 chance, has since won the Paws of Thunder, and last night the Temlee, after the change to, after what occurred in the Temlee, WOW is now actually the equal favourite with Shimmer Shine, $11 into 8. Fantastic victory. I thought after the Paws of Thunder we could dub WOW as the wonder of Wenty, but after what we saw last night at the Meadows, a tremendous achievement, and great, again, as you fellas talked about, the fact that he was able to win at his first go really at the Meadows.
Yeah, well, quickly becoming the wonder from down under, I think, as Greg Miles may well have used with Black Caviar many years ago. Just turning our attention to that Australian Cup market. Now, I believe it is an all-in market because the nominations effectively are into the sense that we've had the qualifiers through the prelims and also those who have been seeded.
That is correct. Just to make sure of this, that if you are betting on the Tab Australian Cup, it is an all-in market. The seeds were announced during the week and they went straight through to the heats, which will be on Saturday night, and you had the preliminaries last night. Shimmer Shine and WOW, they are the equal favourites at $8, and there are a handful of punters. One punter early on had $500 at $14 on Shimmer Shine, and there's also a wager of $200 at $21 on WOW. Fernando Bluey we'll get to see back in action at $11, along with Tigalong Tonk and Tommy Shelby, and Fernando Kaz dropping back from what we saw last night, and the Rookie Rebel is a $16 chance. Plenty of quality there in the Tab Australian Cup. Shimmer Shine and WOW sharing favouritism.
Sharing favouritism. Does anything surprise you guys there? $8 each of two at the top?
Not really. Nah. I think that's right. I think Fernando Bluey, pardon me, because of his early speed, certainly comes into a race like the Australian Cup, and he's one of the informed greyhounds in the country, so it's pretty interesting. There's some nice odds too. Isn't there a Trent going forward? But we're just watching a vision of Fernando Bluey. This is a good field he defeated, guys, isn't he? His splits are enormous.
Yeah, I think he averages about 5.04 early in his last 10 starts, so he's a lid pinger. He'll be doing his best out in front, and they've got to catch him.
And how about Kayla Cottrell? I mean, we had her on the show earlier, and now she's got 2 runners in the top 10 market-wise for the Australian Cup. It's absolutely crazy to think how quickly she's got to where she has. There goes Fernando Bluey romping home to win that one, just like hopefully he does in the Australian Cup, Trent.
There was even the conjecture once the field was finalised for the Temlee whether Fernando Bluey should have been in there. Just had the week off and we'll get ready for the heat, which they'll be announced on Wednesday, I'd imagine, the heats for the Tab Australian Cup.
Yeah, well, Kayla did suggest too that he had kennel cough after that run, so the break may well have done him the world of good. Fantabale Superstayers, pre-nom market. If you bet now, Trent, and they don't take part in their heats, you get your money back. So a little bit of a free throw at the stumps, I guess you could say.
That is correct. Just the slight adjustment to the Tab Australian Cup. We know who will be in the heats, but for the Fantabale Superstayers, the heats will be confirmed on Wednesday. So at the moment, if you back a greyhound and they are not in the heats, you will get your bet refunded. Houdini Boy opened at $4.50 in early January for the Fantabale Superstars, and earlier this week, one punter with $5,000 at $4.50. They would have been wrapped with what they saw in the Zoom top last night, and even after that, $3.40 into now the $3 favourite for the Fantabale Superstars. Here's Tears, Stanley Road and Sunset Burbsky. They're all at $6, and just getting down to Corborn Foot Trot, another one that's really firmed in from an opening price of 51 to 15. And Sir Truculent, the South Australian greyhound of last year, also at $15.
He's a bit unlucky, Sir Truculent too, but does anything surprise you market-wise there?
No, not really. Again, geez, they've come for Houdini Boy, and you'd think he's had 2 runs in the space of, what, just a couple of months. You'd think he would strip fitter for the run from last night. Zach Manelli was another one that I'd be keen on, trying to get my money back from yesterday, again, because of that early speed. But some really good value there, I think, on offer. Yeah,
there's definitely some value. And just quickly, I think the punters clearly didn't take a good look at the analyser, Mitch, because Stanley Road, he was eye-catching, Sunset Burbsky, and I think right now they're probably the valued runners for this.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Sunset Burbsky is probably the one that I'd be getting on. $6 is crazy odds. She's probably one of the best stayers going around. She probably needs a little bit of luck. And I think Corborn Foot Trot is well overs at 15. I just think he's a bit of a run-on type. But it's interesting, the odds, and can't wait.
Well, there's plenty of value about. Don't go anywhere, Trent. We're going to be back after the break. It's my favourite segment. It's Best Bet time on Thrill of the Chase. You're back on the Thrill of the Chase, and we're on the final home straight now for our first episode back. And we've had some massive news throughout the show. Fernando Kaz, a bit of an exclusive that she's dropping back to the 500 metres for the Australian Cup. And lads, do you honestly think she can win it? I mean, she showed a bit of a different string to her bow, winning coming from behind over 600 metres, but we have seen her in the past go very well over 500.
Yeah, she could win it for sure, because her early splits over 600 metres are outstanding. So, especially if she can draw well, and you know how strong she is, you wouldn't not want Fernando Kaz sitting behind you.
Yeah, 100%. She's extremely powerful and will be finished off very, very quickly. My favourite part of the show, as I've said before, it is Best Bets time now, or Best Bet time, depending if it's a plural or not, but there's 4 of us here, so I'm going to call it Best Bets. We'll start with you, Mitch. New to the show, mate. Who's the way to go with today?
My best bet today is Hillsville Race 8, number 5, Invictus Spirit.
What was that?
Race 8, number 5, Invictus Spirit, around the 440 mark.
This is going to be awkward because my best bet comes up in the same race. I'll leave mine to the end. Trent, your best bet.
I'm going to sail race 4, number 2, Ultimate Avenger. Hopefully with a slow beginner on the inside, we'll be able to get the quick pace and hopefully do the job. Unfortunately, didn't have the best season last year, was handing out confectionery. Hopefully a lot better this time, James.
One thing I will say with Trent's tips, they don't normally win the day he tips them, but they end up being very good dogs to follow.
Like bookers.
Yourself, George?
Race 9, number 4 at Sandown, California Gold. I think will be hard to beat. He's in a bit of a purple patch in form around the $2.70 mark.
Okay, well, here's the first, I guess, bit of what we call it, boxing ring activity that we might see on the show this year. I'm tipping at Hillsville as well. Same race as my good friend Mitch Abaya. Race 8, Hillsville, number 3, Hello George. Now, I've had a look with tab.com.au. They're both the same price. So the bookmaker's suggesting it's going to be a close finish between us. But race 8, number 3, my best bet, and that is Hello George. But today, first show up for you, Mitch, first show, George. Have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely loved it. It's been fantastic spending it with you two, and yeah, there's nothing better than talking greyhounds.
And how confident are we of these best bets winning?
Oh, we should go all right, shouldn't we? How's the record been for best bets in previous seasons?
I think, to be honest, my best bet form has been very, very ordinary, but I made sure I did a bit more work.
Does that give me a chance then?
Well, I think you're a big chance of beating me, but I did a bit more work. But yeah, if you missed it last year, Trent Langscale was handing out confectionery. He owed people cherry ripes after such an ordinary run on the tip. So I think we're all looking to bounce back this year, and hopefully we can. So again, thanks to you, Trent, for coming in. We'll catch you next week.
Can't wait for it, especially with the box draw for the TAB Australian Cup.
Exactly right. And thanks to you as well, Mitch, and also to George Ferrugia. Well, next week's show, we've got the box draw for the Australian Cup, the fallout of the heats. We'll chat to you when we go greyhound racing, the thrill of the chase, next week.